I'm catching up with Mark Engel, 4th generation citrus grower, an all-round lovely bloke. He runs a specialist nursery in Dural. That's a bit of a Sydney landmark.
We sell more lemons than any other citrus. People just love them in the backyard. You got a Maya or Eureka.
And you bet, I'm keen to get his top tips for citrus success. So do you ever get sick of questions about citrus?
Not at all. That's my life. That's the only thing I know. I've been doing it for 30 years and probably still do it for another 30, or hopefully.
Mark, what do citrus need?
Sunlight. Look at where they're grown here. Full sun all day is exactly what citrus need. If you've got a bit of a shaded area, they do struggle, so at least 6 hours a day.
OK, so that's a key tip. Anything else?
Definitely drainage. They don't mind water, but it's got to drain away. So if you're in a pot, you want a pot with multiple holes. If you're in the ground, you want it to drain away. Never plant them down in clay. Always build up a bed and plant them up above so the water drains away. And the final thing is fertiliser. They love fertiliser, and no one ever fertilises them enough. I love the pelletised manures. I've got some here. You can smell it. If it smells good, that must be good. But most people make the mistake, if they think because it's pelletised manure, they just give it a little handful. With the manures, it's not the case. You really need to give it a fair bit. If you had an established, say, 6 or 7-year-old tree, you could give it at least half a bucket to a full bucket all the way around the drip line, water it in well, and you'll see the benefits.
And how often would you recommend feeding?
I like 3 to 4 times a year. The easiest way to remember is the start of every season, and then that way you won't forget.
Yeah, perfect. And why is rootstock important?
Citrus grown on a rootstock just produces a lot better tree. It's a lot more vigorous and prolific, fruits quicker, also pests and disease. It's a lot more resistant to that, and it can be grown in a whole range of climatic and soil conditions, so it's a lot better.
And you can also graft onto dwarf rootstock?
Yeah, so it just keeps the whole tree overall smaller, more compact, but still full-size fruit.
So we've got, like, you know, our classics, lemon and limes, but what are some other citrus that you've seen come through the gate?
Have you heard of a YUZU or a Buddha's hand? You could have a CHINOTTO or a West Indian lime. We grow over 40 different varieties of citrus. There's so many unusual citrus.
With Mark's great growing guide under my hat, I'm leaving him now and setting off with a selection of some of the more unusual citrus varieties to slice into. So yuzu has lots of flavour, but it's also got loads of seeds, which might put some people off, but not me. So the flavour profile is a bit complex. It's a mix between tangy lemon and sweet orange and a bit of bitter grapefruit too. Now the peel, it's great for zesting. You can add it to your drinks, vinaigrettes, sauces, whatever you're cooking, you can basically add yuzu to it. Yuzu is really popular in Japan, and they're cold hardy, down to -9 degrees, so it's great news if you live in a cold climate. The fruit is ripe when the skin turns bright golden yellow. In a pot, it may get up to about 2.5 metres tall. It does get large thorns, so take care when pruning and picking. This is Citrus medica, also known as Buddha's hands. And you can see that it's got these like fingers that are kind of splayed out, kind of a bit like octopus tentacles, kind of weird looking. But it smells incredibly fragrant. And the interesting thing about this is it's got no flesh or seeds. So unlike most citrus, the peel is actually sweet. So you can make things like candied citrus peel, maybe put it in your drinks. And because it's so fragrant, you could just leave it on your kitchen table and let the smell waft in the air. Or leave it on the tree and freak your neighbours out. This is Citrus myrtifolia, also known as CHINOTTO. It's a popular fruit in Italy where they use it to make a fizzy, bittersweet drink. So it's thought to be a mutation of a sour orange. Now it looks quite juicy and sweet like an orange, but the flavour is actually quite subtle. And that's because most of the flavour is actually in the citrus peel. The tree is naturally small, so you can grow it in a container. It's got tiny leaves bunched closely together, making it nice and compact. And no thorns. This is a West Indian lime. Most people would pick it when it's green and the flavour profile is quite strong. But you can let it ripen to yellow, and that's when you get a lot more juice, but the flavour isn't as strong. That's sour. It's also known as key lime, and it's a star ingredient in the key lime pie. It's a smaller growing tree, reaching about 3 meters tall in its lifetime. It does have thorns, so take care when picking fruit, or you can simply prune them off. This one is for gardeners in the subtropics and tropics, as it's not cold tolerant. But if you are in a frost-prone area, West Indian lime trees must be protected in winter for at least their first 3 years. SHIRANUI mandarins are a fancy mandarin that you can try. And they have an unusual appearance that you can see that they've got this unusually large lump. It peels just as easily as a mandarin. Oh, it smells so good. Now for the taste test. So good. There's plenty more flavoursome citrus, like citrus aurantium. This is the rough-skinned Seville orange. This one is also widely referred to as bitter orange. It's not pleasant to eat straight off the tree, but the fruit is highly sought after for marmalade. And I've got my eye on this calamansi kumquat. It's a dwarf variety. They're found all throughout Asia, particularly the Philippines, and they're really naturally sour. My partner loves cooking with them and also eating them fresh. This tree is about 3 years old and it's in a 300ml pot. I've got a 500ml pot that I've cleaned, I'm going to reuse, and it's going to go in here. When the plant gets to about 6 years old, it'll appreciate being potted up into this 700ml home. I'm not going from 300ml to 700ml because what happens is that there'll be too many air pockets, the potting mix will get soggy and the plant won't like it. So 500ml it is for now, and eventually 700ml. I'm filling the pot with premium potting mix. So I'm going to give these roots a really good tease because I want them to grow out into the new potting mix. Making a mess. I'm backfilling all the way around. I'm keeping the soil at the same level as it was in its previous pot and definitely making sure I don't cover the graft union. The potting mix contains slow-release fertiliser, which is a good start. And I'm top dressing with a handful or two of pelletized manure. And then I'm adding some mulch. This pot has excellent drainage. It's not pretty, but it's practical. I've added in these chocks that I will use at home to ensure the water does drain away from the pot. In hot weather, I'll keep up the water. And on the first day of each season, I'll top up with pelletized manure and water in well. These fruit are ripe and ready for picking. The tree has put all its energy into growing the fruit. But over the next couple of seasons, I'll be pinching off any flowers and emerging fruit. And as hard as it is missing out on that fruit in the first few seasons, I'm doing it because I want the tree to direct its energy into growing robust roots down below. This will make for a healthier and more productive tree in the long term. This calamansi is on its way to flourishing. And good luck growing your own unusual citrus for your own delicious dishes.